Okay, we should be live now. Hi, my name is Bernard Lee, and this is the Cougarpaw Guide to Creating and Running Your Student Organization. Let me make sure that it is on presenter view, and we'll. So this is the Cougarpaw Guide to Running Your Engineering Student Organization. This video was commissioned by Dr. Koda, Dr. Ashku, with the support of Dr. Burleson to help new students, especially new officers of a student organization, ease into the transition between the old officers and new officers. This is a video tutorial which covers a wide variety of sections, including what to do if you're a new officer, what to do if you want to create an student organization, what to do when you're invited to join Cougarpaw, setting up your first general meeting, setting up a team or weekly meeting, or setting up a special event. Timestamps and slides will be available later for University of Houston students. All of this information applies only to University of Houston students in the engineering college. Does not apply to everyone. If you want to create an organization through the other means, please go through Get Involved. Questions and comments are welcome in the comments of this video. Unfortunately, because this is being live streamed to a unlisted video for the moment, waiting on prior approval, you can just ask questions in the chat if you have any major issues. So, let me do the chair thing. Hang on, I want to do the chair thing. So you're the new officer in charge of a student organization. What am I supposed to do now that I'm in charge? Well, first, congratulations to yourself. You are either just democratically elected, meritocratically appointed, or dictatorially assigned the position of president of a student organization in engineering. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. Now the work begins. The first thing you need to do is you need to re-register your student organization. Let's go to here to show you how to do that. This, please tell me it's still working. Yep. This is, oh God, where is it? Please work. That did not work. Here we go. This is the Center for Student Involvement. They are the ones who manage all engineering student organizations and all organizations across the University of Houston campus. They are the ones you need to talk to if you want to make sure that you are an organization that's approved by UH on main campus or at UH Sugar Land or UH Katy. UH Victoria and UH Clear Lake have their own approved process. And if you want to make sure that you can maintain your existing organization members, right? So just make sure that you're an official organization. The first thing you need to do is you need to fill out or to take the orientation and risk management. It is a video available right here. Again, please go to this website and go from there. After that, you need to fill out the Exploring Diversity for Leaders, for Student Leaders. It is a in-person session or sometimes virtual session. I think this is virtual now too. That requires that you and one other officer must complete, right? And take a quiz on. Finally, when you're done with all of that, you must go to Get Involved and register for an organization. When you do that, you need to fill out you have your RSO advisor agreement. You need to have your constitution from your last year ready. You can download that off of the old website if you've got it. And you need to go to Get Involved to set up your application. Please work. Awesome. This is Get Involved. Get Involved is a web page where you can find all the student organizations ever, including all of their events that they're publishing and other information. So you can see that right now on today's date, which is June 7th, Chess Club's having a tournament, there's a Bible study, and there are a couple other things. Right here will tell you what members you are of a student organization and other information. First things first, if you are a new organization member, right, or if you have access to the previous person who's still in charge, go to your organization will be shown up here, or have them go here and input your membership and list you as the new officer. So list you as the new primary student officer and the new primary contact for that organization, right? Then, if you want to re-register your organization, you should be able to now see this pop up. Go to here, go to, I think it's Documents. It's probably Forms. It's Forms. Forms? No, it's in Submissions. Okay, so this is incorrect. So click all the way up here. Where is it? This is great. I actually don't remember where it is. Existing organizations register through, click on organizations, so it's over here. On the left side, we registered organization. Okay, so you can re-register your organization right here. Find your organization here, so it's like robotics. Yep. And you'll see this already being re-registered. Or you can click down here to register a new organization. Cool. Once you register your organization, and we've just gone through again Evolve walkthrough, once you register your organization, to remain a member of Cougarpaw, go to your Discord or your organization email and fill out this spreadsheet, which is available right here. This spreadsheet is just a list of all student organizations and their officers. So you can see all the student organizations that are listed as engineering student organizations and their officers and their officer contact information. Right? Make sure that you register. Make sure that you get your email with your confirmation that you've been approved as an RSO registration, and then sign up for Cats Back, Cougar Carnival, or other events. Which brings us to the next slide. There are a bunch of different events for you to get recruitment and show your commitment to helping fellow UH engineering and engineering technology students. They're also a great way to connect and find new members. They're also great ways to find new talented, dedicated staff, officers, and other teams. Some of these events will ask you to do demos. Some of these events will ask you to do workshops. Most of these events will just ask you to bring a poster board, show up, and talk to new people, right? This is a short list. These lists are not comprehensive. There are at least 10 events run by multiple departments across engineering and the University of Houston, but this is just a short list, the ones that most student organizations attend. The important ones are Cats Back, which is held at the beginning of every semester, which is run by Center for Student Involvement, which runs Get Involved and help your student organization run. These guys open up a place where basically the first week of school, students will come and, meet with every single club on campus that's still active. Cougar Carnival is the same thing, but it's over the summer, so it's spread up over a longer period of time, and it's for incoming freshmen, specifically for incoming freshmen. So if you're meeting someone at freshman orientation, you can go to Cougar Carnival. Boss Party, which begins in September, is the beginning of semester party run by the University of Houston's engineering. It is now being taken over by Cougarpaw's administration. And it's just a big open party where you can go talk to people, bring in students, get used to meeting your fellow classmates and having fun before the midterms start. Engineering Student Organization Fair, which also happens in late September, early October, is run by Cougarpaw and is a great way for student organizations to recruit new members. Usually for freshman and sophomore courses, they will provide extra credit if you attend the Engineering Student Organization Fair. So 1100 at 31 sometimes will provide you with extra credit if you go. So making sure you're there to get new freshmen and sophomore members is a great thing. I'm disconnected. No, I'm back. Okay. The Innovation Fair, which is held at the end of every semester, so December and April of every year, is run by the Engineering Student Innovation Design Experience group. Their job is to make sure that if you make something or do something cool, that you'll be able to send that information out to everyone across the University of Houston media group. Chili Cook-Off is held by the Electrical Engineering College, and it's a big cooking event where students can get together and celebrate the week before spring break. The Alumni Crawfish Boil is held by the Engineering Alumni Center, which allows you to connect with old mentors, alumni, and also eat a lot of crawfish. And the NAE Grand Challengers, which is held at the end of April every year, is a great way for students to talk about their achievements and accomplishments in research, design, or other factors. Again, this is just a short list. There are many other events that are being held or that have been deprecated and are hoping to be held again, such as Women in STEM Month or Engineers Without Borders events, that kind of thing. Feel free to reach out to Cougarpaw for information. There are other responsibilities that you have as an officer. The first office, in order to make sure that your organization survives and that we know your organization is alive as an engineering organization. The first thing you need to do is you need to attend at least one major engineering event. This is Boss Party, this is Chili Cook-Off, this is maybe Cats Back if you want to call it that way, or Engineering Student Organization Fair, right? That way we know as an organization you guys are still alive and still communicating with us. You at least hold one general meeting every semester so that you can still maintain your viability and hold new members. We prefer that you send an officer every month to attend Cougarpaw's update meetings. We'll go into more about details of that in our Cougarpaw section. You need to update your website or your Get Involved page so that people know that that there's been some activity. We also ask that you listen to your members and to your advisor. So talk to them, talk to the members that or in the previous organization or currently in your organization, and make sure that you communicate clearly with them what you have in mind for the future. Feel free to go back and reread and edit your constitution or your founding bylaws, so that way you have a general idea of how your organization should work. And please, over the semester and over the year, publish photos, meeting information, and progress updates on your website, social media, and other places, so that we know you guys are still around. Remember, you can speak to your previous president and vice president to ask questions, even if after they graduated. They are great resources because they've been in the same place you've been before, as you can talk to them. You can also feel free to ask other Cougarpaw presidents for advice, which we'll go into detail more later. Good luck with your organization, and I wish you the best. So, you want to create an engineering student organization. You want to find a place where students can be chill, or where they can hang out with each other and enjoy their time. First things first is, does your organization meet the requirement to be an engineering student organization? You can file to be a regular student organization through Get Involved and through the Center for Student Involvement. But there are a couple of extra things that we like to talk about to make sure that your organization meets the standard of engineering and helps keep engineers in the loop, right? The requirement first is that your organization must have a minimum of 3 members. That is a requirement by Center for Student Involvement. Your organization must have a professor or chair of engineering or technology as an advisor. So if you're looking for an advisor, feel free to reach out to Cougarpaw, or talk to your professors that you're taking a class with and ask them to be your advisor. Does your organization must provide help for STEM or help groups of people in STEM, right? Or promote STEM in some sort of way. And your organization should have a community space, so a space either virtually or a room assigned to you guys, or share a room with another organization on campus. Right? These are the 4 requirements that we check to make sure that, hey, you are an organization that is an engineering organization. If you want to just be a regular org that does soccer or plays video games or does other things, and you don't want to join the other organizations that do those already, which there are many of, then that can go through RSO. But if you want to make sure and say, hey, I'm an engineering organization, I want to help specifically engineering students or STEM students, you will need to meet these following requirements. We'll also politely ask that you answer this simple question, which is, what does your organization do? When people ask you, or when you are setting up your club or still trying to find members, and they say, well, what do you want your club to do? As an engineering organization, we ask that your organization fit into one of these categories, right? So they help support engineers along their path. Does your organization serve a minority in STEM? So there's already Society for Women Engineers, already Society for African American Engineers, Hispanic Engineers, Asian American Engineers, and Asian Engineers, and many, many other organizations. But if you think your organization, if your minority is not served well enough, you are free to create your own minority serving organization. Is your organization attached to a nationally recognized organization? Most of them are already taken. So the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, American Society of Mechanical Engineers, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, National Robotics Organizations, or other factors will help you make sure that you're attached to something that helps engineering students advance in their careers. Is your organization competing? If your organization is competing in a state or national engineering competition, becoming an engineering organization helps provide you with resources, not just space, but actual resources to compete with that competition. So that would be a good thing to note. Is your organization supporting a state or national institution? So are you guys attached to the U.S. Forest Service or the or the Texas Department of Public Safety, or to another organization that wants to reach out and work with engineering students? Or is your organization supporting a scientific endeavor or national movement? So if your organization is supporting artificial intelligence or robotics or generalized STEM outreach, or promoting for some other event, you are free to create a registered student organization on your own, and it'll help you become an engineering student organization and help serve the local community at large. The first thing you need to do is you need to go to register with the Center of Student Involvement. The Center of Student Involvement has this, which is the new organization registration. You need to do a consultation, which is a video access right here first, and then you need to complete the following steps. First, you need to have you and another officer complete the risk orientation and risk management video and the quiz that is attached to that. Second, you must complete the exploring diversity video and the quiz and fill that out with another officer. Finally, you'll need to go to get involved and register and create an application. as well as have your advisor sign the agreement and create a constitution. There's a sample constitution there, but if you want to use another constitution, write your own constitution, or you have a constitution provided by a national assembly. So like if you are a Institute of Electrical Engineers non-NS, like NSM or other branch, they provide you with a nice simple constitution. You can go to here. To go to organization application, go to here, go to get involved, which is, again, this is get involved. It is a great web page where you're required to go to in order to register and become an official student organization. Click here, organizations, and then you can click here to register organization right here. That'll help you create an organization for you in the future. Cool? Cool. Okay. Once you do that, once you finish and you get your final approval done, you can create your own Get Involved page. A Get Involved page is basically a small website for UH students and UH faculty where you can send them a link to your Get Involved page, and you'll tell them what your organization is about, who's in charge of the organization, and other important information regarding that institution. So that is going to be right here. So when you go to, when you're at Get Involved, you may click here. And you will see all of the current organizations, which there are 627. There are a lot more than I remember. Oh God, I remembered 130. That talk about what they do and why what they do is important, right? Feel free to look through this organization and see if there's anyone here. There's American Society of Mechanical Engineers, which is here. There is Institute of Electrical Electronics Engineers, which is here. There are a bunch of them actually. There is robotics. So for students who are building robotics and robotics engineering. And there's a bunch of other, there's AIAA for people who are interested in building rockets or doing rocketry. And there are hundreds of other organizations that allow you to connect with people and talk to them and figure out exactly what you want to do. Oh, that's cool. Anyway, back to the presentation. Why did the presentation break? Oh, the presentation broke. Oh, the presentation broke. Christ almighty, the presentation broke. Okay. Where was I? Okay. All right, this is going to have to be re-recorded. Once you are done with that, once you're done with creating a Get Involved page, you can create an email address for your student organization. We prefer if you put your organization email on Gmail or Outlook or Office 365, so that way we have some general knowledge. If you want to get specifically an @uh.edu organization email, you need to put that information through your preferred engineering chair. So whoever your advisor is, tell them to contact their chair and ask for the proper permissions. It's usually handled through engineering IT. You only get one UH organizational email, and you can't change the name of it ever. So please make sure when you do that, you're fine. Once you get an email address, either a Gmail or an official UH edu address, you can go register. You can talk to Mrs. Inez, Hutchinson Inez, at the following email address to register to get engineering news. You can register for Cougarpaw. You can set up your Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn or other social media accounts, and you can create a Discord, Slack, or Teams group for your members so they can all hang out somewhere virtually, right? If you want to join Cougarpaw and make sure that you're actually registered as an engineering organization so that you're listed and says, hey, my organization is an official engineering organization, we're still active and we're recruiting members today, and so we can talk to freshmen, you can reach out to Dr. Koda or Dr. Aksu to join Cougarpaw, which is an engineering president and officers club, which helps your organization navigate all the intricacies of starting an organization and maintaining an organization around engineering. Dr. Koda and Dr. Osku's email are available here. Finally, when you're done with all of that, go to the TDCU bank at the University of Houston, which is available here, and set up a student org bank account. You can do that at Student Center South. They will walk you through the process for what you need and what documentation you require, including whether or not you're a registered student, whether you're including your registered student organization documentation, whether or not you do 501c3 and other information. All of that can be available here for you. Good luck with creating and founding your organization. We have a lot of faith that you're going to do great work, and looking forward to seeing you all go around. Okay. So you've been invited to join Cougarpaw. Congratulations. Engineering Cougarpaw is a professionally managed organization by the University of Houston's Coleman College of Engineering, founded by Dr. Dan Burleson and now run by Dr. Koda and Dr. Aksu. Its purpose is to help engineering student organizations with their challenges, help connect officers with other officers from other organizations, so to create an officers club, and to make sure that students' orgs have the resources and credibility and intelligence they need to make rational decisions. It's expanded to help maintain all engineering organizations' capabilities, readiness, and survivability. What Cougarpaw does is it helps you make sure that your organization will live, not just while you are president, but after you are president, and helps make sure that your organization survives and can do the things that it wants to do. Cougarpaw maintains monthly meetings where at least one of your top 3 officers, but all of your officers, from your organization can come share updates, challenges, upcoming events, and ask questions about certain problems or how to do certain things. It's always a lunch event and always comes with free pizza, so we highly encourage you come. Cougarpaw also runs Boss Party and the Engineering Student Organization Fair that has been a responsibility that has been handed off to them. So when you want to attend Boss Party or when you want to attend the Engineering Student Organization Fair, you need to be a Cougarpaw member. Cougarpaw also maintains this list of all engineering student organizations, which is right here. This is the list of all currently approved engineering student organizations that are listed for engineering. It is currently still being rebuilt, so some of this information is not correct. If your information is not correct, please join Cougarpaw and inform Dr. Koda and Dr. Aksu. All right. It also helps deliver checks through the Alumni Center and through outreach, and handle sponsorship packages and fundraising through meetings. So if you want to raise money through the University of Houston, you can go talk to that. It also helps you put event flyers up on Discords and through email event listservs. So you can post to Cougarpaw, and the event will go out to, and your event or your general meetings will go out to every engineering student much faster. Right? In order to make sure that you are a Cougarpaw member, make sure that you're connected to Dr. Koda and Dr. Aksu to make sure that you're on the line. If you're a new organization, email Dr. Koda and Dr. Aksu to set up a meeting and get approved to join if they haven't contacted you already, which they probably have. If you've just taken over an org, make sure to join the Cougarpaw Discord, which is right here. Make sure that you're getting your organization emails or getting the Cougarpaw emails, and add your information back to the Cougarpaw information page, which is this web link. This link lists all the engineering student organizations on the bottom and lists all the information for the organization. So all of the officers, vice presidents, and everyone. So you can go there and take a look. The nice thing about Cougarpaw is that we also have a Discord for you to talk to other organization officers and to Dr. Koda, Dr. Aksu, and Dr. Burleson, even if you're not able to make this team meetings. So we're going to jump to Discord to give a quick tutorial. This is Discord. This is our Cougar. Thank you for telling me that. This is the Cougarpaw. Cougarpaw Discord. It is for officers and officers only to be able to send messages to each other and communicate with each other effectively. The link will be provided in the Teams page. In the slides when they're uploaded. First things first is that when you get on board, you need to click and make sure that you fill out everything properly. So you need a list and say, hey, I'm an engineering student, or list yourself as a college technology student, or that you're an NSM major, or you know the college, and then say that you are a top 3 officer, non-executive officer, or an alumni in order to see everything and be able to post, right? Here on the welcome page, you can find out all the information that we have coming up. On here in event flyers, student organizations will post information about their events, right? So if you have an event and you want that event to be, shared automatically, you can go right here. Right here is Cougarpaw announcements, which are information sent specifically for your Cougarpaw organization. So if you've got, if you as an officer have a warning or something that's coming up that needs to happen, like an event or a major competition or something else, you can go right here and you can send that up directly. Here, you can introduce yourself, so you can talk about what organization you are, how happy you are to be an officer and looking forward to talking with everyone. You can post memes and talk about fun and other things down here. You can contact each other through this channel, and you can find out when our next Cougarpaw meetings are right here posted to this group. There's also when you become an officer, when you list yourself as one of these two, you will see these two. This is all of the major events that we are working on. So if you go into engineering org fair, including the map for engineering org fair, either career fair, chili cook-off, Burns McDonnell events, which is no longer valid, or ESIDE events, which are coming up. You can also speak directly to your to other student organizations. So your organization will get a little cubby here in this engineering organizations tab, and you can message them and say, hey, you know, I want to talk to someone from this organization. Can someone reach out? And they'll be able to connect you guys immediately. All right. It's a great way to connect with, Cougarpaw is a fantastic way to connect with other officers from other organizations. So if you want to do collaboration events, or if you want to get together and do something, this is exactly what Cougarpaw is created for. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed being a member of Cougarpaw, and it helps you incredibly with your organization. Cougarpaw is a resource like many other things. If you ever need help, or if just, you know, confused on how to do something, feel free to reach out on Discord or at the Cougarpaw monthly meetings to ask questions. So you're getting ready to set up a meeting. This is going to be either a general meeting, one of your monthly organization meetings, or a club-specific event that you want to do. Congratulations, right? You've gotten to the point where your organization's ready to set up a general meeting, and you're ready to set up your first one. Now, there are 4 steps to creating a successful general meeting. The first thing you need to do is you want to pre-plan your event. So ask you and your officer board, where do you want this event? Who do you want to come to this event? And whether or not you've reached out to everyone who wants to come, like if you want to bring a guest speaker, right? Then you need to register your event on Get Involved. On Get Involved, you can reserve your space, or if it's not a Get Involved space, you can reserve it somewhere else. You can advertise your event, and then you can apply if you need permits through Get Involved. Once you do with that, advertise your event. Email UH students, post to social medias, set up posters and flyers, visit classrooms to talk to new students. And then once you have all that ready in the week before your event or the day before your event, make sure to practice and prepare for that event. Have your agenda ready, prepare your banners and posters and everything else, practice presentation, and if you're serving food, make sure that all your permits and food is ready. First things first, you need to set up a Get Involved event form. So we're going to go tab over to Get Involved right now. So back on Get Involved, right? Let's say we want to set up an event. We can go to here, which is events, and that's not where it goes. So we go to right down here. You'll see little tab that shows your organization. So right over here, you may click that, and you'll see the gear pop up. When the gear pops up, you can click events. We're using the robotics Club at the University of Houston just because I was a former officer, and so I can show you guys how to use it. Once you're there, you'll see a list of all previous events, right? So all the events you've worked on previously or set up previously. And then you can go over here to create an event. Now in creating an event, there's a bunch of things you need to set up, your event title, description, all that stuff. Go through and fill out the form, do it nice and slow. If you can't fill out the form in one setting, fill the space in with, so let's say, right, let's say for instance that you want to create an event real quick. Event category, select perks, right? Okay, cool. So let's create a location manually, set up location for today at this time, online location. Nation, meow. Okay, save. All right. When you are filling out this event form, it does not save until you reach the very end. So fill out everything as quickly as possible. If you don't know how to fill something out, just fill it with a blank space. So like just fill it with something blank and get going through all of that. And once you get to the end, you'll be able to save the event. You cannot save the event here. That's just a glitch with Get Involved. So make sure that you have everything filled out. Or if you don't know something, just put a question mark there and go back to it. Once you reach the end, you can save everything. But until you reach the end, it's not saved. So just bear that in mind. Okay? Once you create your event, right? Once you create your event, you need to reserve a space. You can either reserve a space to one of the following 3 institutions on campus. If you want to reserve it at the engineering building, you can go to the undergraduate advising office to handle reservations for engineering building 1, engineering building 2, AgriWall, and TechBridge. Makes it really easy. So all you have to do is click on this form, to go and set up an engineering organization reservation. Very simple. It'll tell you exactly, you know, who you need to register, all the stuff you need in places, and all the locations you can reserve the space for. It's really nice that way, right? If you're a technology student, or if you're out at Sugarland, you can go to this form for University of Houston technology students or Engineering at Sugarland and sign up for the same place, right? If you are trying to set the event up at Bowers, like cute classroom business building, or at Melcher Hall, you can click on this form handled by Bauer offices. It's right here, and it'll tell you exactly, you know, where spaces you have, the available options, which there are many of, and give you opportunities to work there, right? If you're doing any other location, like if you want to do an event at Student Center, or if you want to handle an event outdoors, you need to go through Conference and Reservations, which is now integrated to Get Involved. So let's go back to the Get Involved page real quick. Right, so right here, all the way back here at the beginning of your event, right here, you can click Add Reservation Request, and you can look for the rooms that are available for the date that you're looking for, right? Including indoor, outdoor, looking for layout, as is, empty, you know, all the information you could possibly need, you can just look for right here and find it, right? I'll have to delete that event later. Once you are done, and once you have filed that Get Involved form and filed for your space, you can now advertise your event. So you can either post it to Cougarpaw Discord, you can post on your own social media and tag Engineering or ESIDE, and we'll forward it to the right people or retweet it. You can also post it to your own Discord, Slack, Teams, or communication systems, so that you can, you know, let people know that things are going on. If you are old school, you can email your members directly if you have a list of them, or every Monday morning, every Monday noon, if you want to send a poster to all engineering students, right, you can go through and email Mrs. Inez, Hutchinson Inez, right here, using this email with your poster and your organization information, and she'll post it all and send it to everybody and compile it for them. Finally, if you want to set up posters or flyers, you can put the posters up in the following Center for Student Involvement approved locations. This is the list of all the approved campus posting sites. So I want to say, hey, I want to put a poster, but I don't know where. Look right here. This will tell you where they are. You can tell them how many you can post, and you know where you can and cannot post them for. There are 176 posters you can post anywhere, so feel free to. All right, there are also big notice boards you can post to. So if you look around campus, you will see these notice boards, or if you're going to be a freshman orientation, you will remember these notice boards. You can put up notices on all of them. If you want to put signs up, like, you know, something you can stick into the ground or as a big tarp or banner, you'll need to file that in your Get Involved application. And remember, once you're done with your event, to take down all of your posters. If you're inviting a guest speaker, that's wonderful. Guest speakers are a wonderful way for your organization to have networking with companies, industry, and other community experts, right? Your guest will only need prior approval, if they are, one, demoing a product or a system, which needs a prior approval by your advisor or by Cougarpaw, and requires special permits depending on the product. Hiring for organization or company at the event. So if people are coming and saying like, hey, I want to take some people from your organization, I want to hire them or have them do a thing with me at the event site, not like interview them directly or do a mock interview. Then you need to inform Cougarpaw faculty to inform the UH Engineering Career Center that's happening, or if your engineering organization or your guest speaker is selling a product at that event. Most likely that's not allowed, but if you really think that it's a good idea, contact the Center for Student Involvement and have them go through the process. Am I transmitting audio? I am, okay. Please be courteous to your guests and guest speakers and treat them not just as a member of your organization, but as a representative of their organization and of the university. So please be calm and courteous with them. And remember to tell your guests where they should be parking. If you want to pay for the parking, or if they want you to pay for the parking, you must pay the day of through text to pay or through the parking meter, depending on the parking site you've picked. This is a new policy put together by UH Parking. All right, congratulations, and we hope your first general meeting goes well. So you've got a weekly team meeting, right? You want to host something that happens every week, like a game night or a board game night, or just prepare for a competition, hold workshops, or have a study session, right? Hang out with friends. With these kind of small events that are only for your members, you do not need to reserve the event to get involved unless your meeting space is a get involved space, right? So if you're holding a routine meeting that's not a general meeting and that doesn't change rooms every week, you don't have to fill that out to get involved. You just need to set it up and have that room as an organization. You could hold your team meetings in your student organization lounge or in a classroom as long as you reserve that classroom, right? So if you're an organization that's lucky enough to have a student organization lounge or share the student organization lounge with another organization, feel free to just reach out and do stuff with them. You also need to make sure that these meetings are held at regular times and intervals so that they don't run into other meetings or into other locations. Say if you're using a classroom every week at this time and you tell them you meet at this classroom every week and every time, please make sure those meetings, and you need to change that, make sure to tell the right people, and make sure that your space allows for the meeting that you want to happen, right? So if you're doing a workshop, or if you're building something, or you require something like high voltage or high pressure or special equipment that require training, permit, consultation, make sure your space allows that, okay? There are a lot of spaces available across, not just on campus, but across Houston that you can have in order to build things or work with your hands or do other projects. The Engineering Student Innovation Design Experience Group, run by Dr. Burleson, provides you with easy connections to access machines, makerspaces, and resources across the University of Houston. Reach out to UH at ESIDE@cougarpaw.uh or check out our website, which is right here. This is the website. It's still being built right now. When it's ready, you'll be given an email through the organization. You can go here to click resources for making and see what spaces are available for your institution. Let's say, okay, I want to build something. You can go to the ESIDE studio and hold a weekly meeting there. You can go to the Art and Technology Center to build artistic sculptures and creations. You can request a machinist, talk to the Arts and Design Lab, go to the machine shop at Sugarland, or check out this incredible map of all all organizations across the city of Houston that provide you with some sort of access to machines or equipment. Right? These are institutions that ESIDE has had access to or has spoken with in the past that you can connect with really quickly and host a meeting there or host people there to work on. Right? And this will all be available to you through ESIDE. So if you've got questions about this, please go reach out and email us at eside@cougarpaw.uh.edu or reach out to us on Teams. Once you are ready and once your team meetings have started, you can go ahead and recruit for your team. Make sure that you've got your space reserved before you do this. But when you have it all set up, you can go through social media, like by posting to Cougarpaw Discord, or by posting on social media and saying applications open or recruiting now, and tagging UH Engineering or UH ESIDE so that they'll be able to post that over. And post it to your own members by sending it to their Slack, Teams, or email. The same thing happens if you want to send that out through email. So if you want to send a poster saying, hey, applications are open to join my team for a competition or to do an event, you can email by Monday noon to send the poster or your photo through ESIDE, the engineering organizational listserv, by emailing that email address before Monday noon. If you want to put up posters, you will also have to go to the CSI approved poster locations. There are also notice boards you can post to. If you want to put up signs, you need to go through Get Involved, and remember to take down your posters at the end of every semester. If the College of Engineering prefers that you notify Cougarpaw and other organizations that you're representing the University of Houston in a state or national tournament, event, conference, donation drive, or major volunteer or state activity, right? So if you're going to a conference nationally, if you're going to compete against another university, or if you're doing something else, please make sure you follow the following steps. 1, inform your advisor of your intent to represent the University of Houston. So if your advisor doesn't know you're going to a competition, you should probably let them know months in advance. After that, inform your chair of engineering that you are going to represent the University of Houston. So if you know your advisor is a member of the Civil Engineering Department or the College of Technology's Electrical Engineering Department or a Mechanical Engineering Department, have them inform their chair. So you can ask them who their chair is, that your team is going to be representing the University of Houston, right? After that, you need to inform Cougarpaw at a monthly meeting or by emailing Dr. Koda and Dr. Aksu that you're going to be going somewhere to represent the University of Houston, right? That way, we have some prior knowledge and it isn't a surprise to us. And we can also post information about your organization and let people know that you're representing us. If you need equipment help, make sure to reach out to ESIDE through eside@uh.edu for equipment, grants, or technical assistance, or just a space to run your trainings. Make sure your organization is a registered student organization, RSO, and has proof of that, so has their slip. And make sure your organization is well prepared and trained for the environment. If you need drivers to drive out there, make sure your drivers are well trained and well prepared. Make sure that you have other kind of things there. If you're going on a long-term trip, or if you're going to a site that's a little bit dangerous, like a forest or marsh or a desert environment, say like if you're doing a volunteering organization with the police department, or if you're heading out to New Mexico to launch a rocket, good luck AIAA, make sure your organization is well prepared for the environment. So make sure they've got medical kits, water bottles, hats, all the things they would need. We want to see procedures, and we want to see that you guys are ready to tackle the space you're going to. Good luck. If you're representing the University of Houston, good luck, teams. You will absolutely need it. So, you've got a special activity. The special activity is if you want to do something that's a little bit not a general meeting, but also a little bit more than a team meeting, right? So if you want to do testing for rockets, to fly drones, do a race, robot combat, indoor and outdoor trainings, competitions, or something, right? This is the short tutorial for you. On campus, there are a bunch of special events and activities. These events are the following that have been approved. These are events that require specialty permits and other information, right? So you need to file extra forms and extra things in order to do any kind of event or activity like this. These kind of events are: 1, if this event requires cooking or outdoor tents; 2, if the event were large or concerning robots or machinery being operated, right? 3, if you have an event where you're bringing a trained animal, like an emotional support animal, to campus; 4, if you're having a workshop that requires special advising or training; 5, if you're holding a joint event with another university, like hosting a tournament at UH or training with them at another institution; or if you're holding a sporting team or inter-sporting sport activity. So let's say your organization, I'm going to name Engineers Without Borders, and you want to challenge someone to a soccer match, like SACE, Society of Asian Student Engineers. You want to have a friendly sporting or inter-event rivalry, there's a special form for that. Note that if your activity is not an event, but a request by a county, state, or national organization and a direct call for assistance, please email eside@cougarpaw.edu immediately and tell ESIDE in that email to contact Bernard Lee ASAP. So for example, if there's a hurricane coming through Houston and your organization has been asked to volunteer for that with Houston Police Department, if there is a search and rescue event where they think that you have resources that can work there, such as an underwater vehicle, remotely operated vehicle, or some sort of aerial vehicle, or if you've got prior training and knowledge and your organization is planning on working with Houston Fire, Texas Department of Public Safety, or anyone, right, that says, hey, we'd like to have you guys volunteer for us on an event that's not just like a one-time volunteer event. Reach out to eside@cougarpaw.edu and have them look for me ASAP. That requires specialty events and training, and I'll be the one to advise you on that situation. Finally, if your organization is planning on doing an event and it's a little bit sus, here are the events that are specifically banned at UH campus. The first is the discharge of firearms, chemical, projectile weapons, which are outlined in System Administrative Memorandum Number 1. Don't do that on campus, or even off campus in some cases, depending on the situation, without specialty approval, right? You cannot also set up an uncontrolled non-cooking or fire experiment. So let's say you want to set up a campfire or do a s'mores night. You can't do that with the real fire. Don't do that. If you want to do camping on UH grounds, you are not allowed to do that. So let's say if you want to be like, hey, let me bring some tents, we'll set up we'll put some tents in the ground or bring some sleeping bags and we'll sleep on campus. You cannot do that. Don't do that. If you are doing human-to-human fighting or combative sports without authorization like recreation, so like boxing or taekwondo or something like that, without approval by UH Recreation, you are not allowed to do that, right? If you are developing or maintaining experiments on live animals or creatures, or if you're caring for a live animal on campus, you cannot do that at this moment. There are teams lobbying to amend that, but that is controlled by UH Fire and Life Safety. Finally, if your event or activity may pose a risk to a serious risk to humans, that is not allowed on UH campus, and we recommend you go off-site or find a location to test it. First thing you need to do is you need to apply for your event or your activity on Get Involved at least 30 days in advance if you can, right? If it's not some sort of emergency event, just apply on Get Involved at least 30 days in advance, right? Fill out your application the month before the event happens and let us know, and let Get Involved know. Then contact the right people for that institution, right, for the organization. If your event can be slightly dangerous, right, and isn't kind of listed below, ask UH Risk Management. They're not dangerous. They won't bite, and they're very friendly people. If your if your event requires the deployment of autonomous robots or drones or other platforms, contact Mrs. Lori Perkle or drones@central.uh.edu for information, right? All drones over 250 gram must be reported regardless of how safe or unsafe that vehicle is. Doesn't matter, it needs to be reported. And any ground vehicle over 12 pounds, so that is a robot with wheels, right, that walks around. If it's like a static robot or stationary robot, that doesn't really count, but if it's a mobile robot, you need to be reported to the UH Police Department. A valid Part 107 license or recreational flyers ID or a driver's license may be required to have that event set up, right? Contact these two if you want to ask, those two emails if you want to ask questions. If your event requires an open flame, right, fill out the open flame permit, which is now also on Get Involved, by contacting UH Fire and Life Safety. If your event has food or has food preparation and serving or has alcohol, fill out the UH Fire and Life Safety form, which is now also on Get Involved. We'll go through more of that in a bit. First things first, if you're conducting an event like this, make sure you're doing it in a safe, controllable location where you can reduce access and risk of other people. So if you're testing something, or if you're flying something, operating a robot or machine, make sure it's in a place that students don't usually walk through, or you can block off to make sure students don't walk through. This is a location provided by the University of Houston's Robotics Club. Of all locations, you can have a safe robot event site. These are all locations that you can test. There's the inside of the Engineering Building 1 pit, the Engineering Building 1 outdoors, this little sculpture garden, the turtle pond, and other locations, right? Some locations that are marked in red cost money or are not available at this time, right? This map is also filled out with University of Houston Sugarland and University of Houston Katy. So if you go to UH Sugarland all the way down here, you will see the spaces that are available and who to contact, right? And all the way in UH Katy, which is right over here, you will also see who you can contact and who you can talk to, right, to reserve those sites. This map does not include UH Downtown because UH Downtown is a very controlled area, right? Or UH Clear Lake, just because we don't have anyone at UH Clear Lake, and UH Clear Lake sets up their own organizations anyway, so we'll leave them alone for now. Okay. First, if your organization is doing something that requires food or cooking permits, you need to file your form at least your Get Involved form at minimum 14 days in advance, and have someone complete the food handler training, which you can find on Get Involved. If your event requires food, like food preparation, like say if a student is cooking something, right, like day of, say for example you're doing a cook-off or crawfish boil or chili night, right, you need to file through Get Involved at least 30 days in advance, and then file the proper forms through Get Involved and Fire and Life Safety requests. There are a bunch of different forms you got to fill out. Make sure to do it at least 30 days in advance, right? If your event has an open flame, like a cooking flame, same thing. You've got to go through Get Involved at least 30 days in advance and file the proper forms. If your event serves alcohol, you must also inform a University of Houston Police Department, UH Police Department, and pay for a UH Police Department officer or observer to be there to check ID, right? You could do so on Get Involved or by contacting UHPD directly through their website. Second, if you are operating a machine or robot that's kind of dangerous and mobile, there are a lot of extra forms you've got to file for. This usually applies to AIAA and robotics at UH, but if your organization wants to, learn how to fly something or learn how to drive something, that's all here, right? If you want to teach new pilots, conduct a drone racing film session, test a unmanned aerial vehicle, or want to bring someone off campus to demo a drone or UAV on campus, or if you were landing a helicopter, which, oh my God, how would you do that? There are a couple of extra things you need to do. First, you file your get involved form at least 30 days in advance, and in your get involved form, you need to type the following information right here. It needs to say outdoor UAV and UGV usage, parentheses, drones and robots, right? Right here when it says high-risk activity, so that they know what this is, right? Once you're done with that, if you're flying a drone, make sure to file a UAS use permit through the University of Houston Police Department, which is right here. Make sure at least someone on your organization who is there attending the event is a Part 107 pilot, so that is a Federal Aviation Administration drone pilot, or a recreational flyer that has been approved by UH Police Department to train, right, or practice. Make sure if you are bringing someone off campus, or if you have it, to bring UAS insurance. So like, if you're a member of the Academy of Model Aviation, you can just bring your AMA member card. Make sure that all pilots and operators sign a UAS liability waiver provided by UH Police Department when you contact them. And then day of, when you're flying, ready to fly your drone and everything's set up, file through your LAANC of your app of your choice, right? Bear in mind, this is a process, which is why we're telling you to file. If you're doing a drone event, you should file 30 days in advance of your test date so that you know, right? You should also be smart. You can file for multiple days in the same event. So if you're going to file for a day and it's bad weather, file for 2 or 3 days so that way you have some wiggle room to be ready for that. Also, if you're operating mobile machinery over 12 pounds, such as large autonomous ground vehicles, anything FRC sized or BattleBot, large BattleBot sized or stuff like that, big robots that are made of steel and are dangerous. If you've got an autonomous car that does not fit the Texas Department of Safety vehicle registration requirements, which is basically if your car is that you built it yourself and it weighs over 12 pounds and can be road legal but isn't yet road legal, you will need to apply for a permit. If you are handling construction equipment, you'll need to file for a permit for that. And if you've got an unlicensed or an experimental vehicle, so if you are building your own car, FSAE, you'll need to contact or consult risk management, do it off campus. If you want to do a public demo or test, right? If you're testing it just in a safe location, fine. Let the right people know, right? But if you want to actually do an event where you demo it or show it off, you need to file that through Get Involved. And if you're doing an off-campus test, you also need to file that to Get Involved. And maybe if your machine is that dangerous, you can have your operator, if it's not a UH student, bring the machine to show, but leave it on a table or leave it somewhere where the students can just walk around and walk into it, that not activate it. So if you've got a giant digging machine or a cat crane or something similar, just bring it, let people show it, but don't let them operate it, right? That's probably an easier process. 3, let's say you want to have an event where you bring an emotional support animal on campus. I wish I had my cat right now. Great. An emotional support animal is a great stress relief activities, and it's totally understandable and allowed with a proper registration. First, make sure you file and get involved at least 14 days in advance. Second, you must bring an off-campus organization that deals with ESAs as an advisor. You cannot just say, here's my dog or here's my cat, he's an ESA, and I'm bringing them, right? So if you want to say, hey, I want to do an event where students can come and pet dogs or cats or something, reach out to the Houston Humane Society or BARC or someone else in the local area, such as Pearland Animal Welfare Services, and have them bring someone to campus. Finally, you can double check with with UH/EU/accessibility, which gives you information as to what's allowed for emotional support animals. So emotional support cats, dogs, and other animals are okay. Chinchillas are cute. We don't think there's been an approved emotional support snake, but you can check with uhu.edu/accessibility if you have questions about that. And finally, please make sure to advertise this event so that we can all, be exposed to your emotional support animal and de-stress. 4, if you're having a workshop or training session that requires a practitioner or that's like maybe beside their interest, say you want to do a soldering workshop, or if you want to fly drones, or have a training session where you operate inside of a forest or train for an environment like desert survival training, desert wilderness training, forest survival training, right? You will need to have that run by a licensed practitioner or advisor to run that workshop or session, right? You can't just say, let's all drive out to the UH forest and have fun. No, you need someone there who's actually got some prior experience, right? This practitioner can be a student or member, but must have prior experience. That prior experience can come from training at ESIDE or through a professor. So if they're learning how to solder, if they've learned how to solder, if you've got someone who's there, make sure to have them go through the proper processes to verify that they can solder. The prior experience can come from an off-campus site, so like TXRX Labs, Creative Space, Houston Community College, or other location, as long as they prove that they've taken that course, right? So they have to show something that says, hey, I've taken a course on this, right? They can also get that experience, like say if there's specific like wilderness training or that kind of thing from a local government, state or federal training. Say if you want to, as an example that no one's done yet, put people through astronaut desert survival training or forest survival training, ask someone at NASA to come over and talk to you about it, right? Whoever your practitioner is, if they're on campus, must have appropriate certifications, safety trainings, and licenses if they need to, right? If the advisor is paid or has equipment costs, so if you need to buy stuff and equipment, it is the student organization's responsibility to handle that fee. It's the student organization's job to pay for all of that information for that advisor, right? Thankfully, the University of Houston provides a nice outdoor training site for students, student organizations, and UH faculty to conduct research operations, training, and other things to near campus. It's a 10-minute drive from campus. You can park there if you have a valid UH parking pass, or you can walk there from main campus, right? There's also a bus that goes there, but that bus is kind of sketchy. The site was negotiated back in 2019-2020 by University of Houston drone pilots, which has now become Robotics University of Houston. It took them a lot of effort, so please thank them for that. But this space is now available for all student organizations and for workshops, right? It's divided into 3 sections. There's this, which is the open grass section, where it's a nice flat area. We could just be like, hey, let's all come out here and let's have a fun activity or sporting activity. There's this section right here, which is a shared tarmac section, where if you have something that's a wheeled vehicle, you can test it here. So Cougar Racing, FSAE will test out near here, near Cougarpaw, so like they'll near Tech Bridge, where they can just drive around. And then there's this big site called the Forest Search and Rescue section, which was developed basically to let the Robotics Club drive robots through the forest, which is a very fun activity they used to do. It's now open to all University of Houston students as long as they file through the right people. So if you want to use this space for an event, bear in mind this site is only available for workshops, research, or training events, right? Not for like, hey, I want to throw a party out here. Do not file them for that. Do not borrow them with that, okay? This location is operated jointly by TechBridge and UH Police Department. When you fill out, you get involved, and you contact UH Police Department for your activity, reach out. They'll put you in the right contact with the right people, right? So if you're flying a drone, or if you're driving a robot out there, reach out to UHPD at the emails provided above. So drones@central.uh.edu for advice. If you're holding an event with another university, such as hosting a tournament on campus or hosting a joint training activity where you invite another university to come visit us, say for instance, if you want to just hold a tournament between the University of Houston and Rice University over a video game of your choice, right? You need to follow a little bit extra steps to make sure that both sides get everything in their ducks in a row. The first thing you need to apply for your event at least 30 days in advance, including for space, get involved in others. So have all of that filled out 30 days in advance. Inform the correct departments of the events, such as risk management, UH Police Department, or fire and life safety. So if it's operating a drone or operating a robot, you've got to go back upstairs and fill out the rest of the following information. You need to coordinate with the other university or national organization to make sure the event is successful and the equipment arrives on schedule. Say if you're hosting a VEX or first robotics competition tournament or another tournament, you need to coordinate with all of those at least 3 days in advance. Make sure that everyone has access. Finally, you need to make sure that other universities or organizations can park near the event site so they can get there and they can find a place for parking. So provide a map of where they should park, how expensive it's going to be, and other information, right? Please inform Cougarpaw that you're doing this. So if you're setting up a tournament, tell Cougarpaw it's going to happen, right? So that people, they know in advance and they know kind of what to expect, and so they can market it and send it out to the correct people. 6, if you are holding a sporting activity, such as an inter-club tournament on campus, there's a couple of extra steps. Say, for instance, you are the American Society of Mechanical Engineers or another institution similar to it. There are many, and say, I want to do a soccer night versus somebody. Let's do it, right? So let's get some student organizations together. Let's do a fun soccer night or football night or that kind of thing. The first thing you need to do is you need to contact UH Campus Recreation for location and pricing information. So they'll provide you with equipment. You just need they'll tell you where, right? And it's going to cost a little bit. So the student organization is going to cost between $50 to $100 depending on location, depending on how long, right? Second, you need to schedule the event at least 30 days in advance to get involved. So fill out the information on get involved at least 30 days in advance. 3, when you're at the site, make sure your event has adequate hydration, nutrition, and medical support. So if it's a soccer tournament, make sure you bring a pack of bottled water. That's really all you would need. And a med kit, just to be sure, right? If you're holding a sporting activity, 4, make sure to plan for bad weather at the event. So schedule 1 or 2 days in advance and say, hey, it's raining, we can't really play soccer in the mud, let's reschedule for another day. Make sure you've got at least two days scheduled so you can prepare for that. And finally, make sure your prizes are approved by your staff and your UH advisor, right? So sure, a gift card to Amazon or to another Target or somewhere, wherever you want it to be, or trophy is okay. But if it's a little bit suspicious, please ask your advisor whether that's okay, right? If you want to do an off-campus occasional activity, so like go to Galveston or do some other kind of event, you can do that at your own discretion. But if you're doing it with multiple organizations, you'll need to probably do a get involved registration or handle other events, right? So you still need help. One of these slides didn't make sense. I bumbled through the slide, which is pretty common. Or you just have questions, right? You want to see me do the Captain America pose? You can reach out to contact me at the following places. My name is Bernard. I graduated this semester as part of mechanical engineering. I'm currently working for AFRL Space Vehicles. And I'm also the founder of Limited Technologies LLC, an educational organization dedicated to advancing robotics. I'm a former instructor at ESIDE, UH Makerspace, and TXRX Labs. And this video was produced for the University of Houston's Coleman College of Engineering's Engineering Student Design and Innovation Experience Studio, which was designed for ESIDE. If you've got questions, if you want to talk to me, or if you need any help, reach out to ESIDE@UH.edu or talk to me on LinkedIn for information. Thank you very much. And again, if you have any questions, put them in the comments down below or reach out via email and we'll get the right people in touch.